BBC Hooniverse.
You're watching the TGM production.
Hello and welcome to Doctor Who Unleashed versus Doctor Who Confidential. TBC, whether or not that's the order of the title. Today in the blue corner we have Doctor Who Unleashed, and in the red corner Doctor Who Unleashed. Who's better, Unleashed or Confidential? Confidential or Unleashed? Well, the answer is as easy as 81.4 FM. Yes, that means Confidential doesn't win automatically. Why? Because Unleashed has got more than... Unleashed has got A presenter has been there since the beginning and won't change probably, hopefully. 2, Unleashed as a work experience segment. And 3, it's not got license music issues. That's what Confidential has interchangeable presenters in the style of voiceover throughout the show's history. It had a lot of copyright music, so all the cut down versions were never as good, but at least it was something. You got to take that in mind. Then, and then we have that all important thing was, yes, Confidential might have had more doctors, and some of them might have been the best. David Tennant is number 10, but if you think about it, behind the scenes in general have improved over time. Had so many different variants in not just in Doctor Who, but in many different shows. Like Talk 20 Classified was really good, but I think I prefer Unleashed due to the Unleashed, Confidential, and all behind the scenes are not made for Bob, Dick, Jerry, Sanchez, and Coca. These are random names I'll put up 100. Silly me, ha ha ha. So, the Confidential is in for the average bystander. Yes, the behind the scenes would be fun for a bystander. Yes, they'll have a great time watching, but the real Confidential, Unleashed, behind the scenes type shows are made for you. Well, depends on who you are. It's made for me, really. So it's made for people that are interested in media, people that are interested in the filmmaking business, people that are interested in making TV, people that are interested in behind the curtains. So you sort of got to look at it going, well, the reason why you would say that Unleashed is slightly better isn't because of the quality of the behind the scenes, it's because of the work experience section. I know that Confidential started a lot of people off going, wow, whoa, I didn't know that you could do that. And a lot of people who are in the industry now, who are my age and above, were watching Confidential at the time going, I want to do that, I want to do that, I want to do that. You get a car, we buy any car.com, you want to do it. And so Unleashed sort of highlights the unwell-known jobs that you wouldn't expect. So someone that has to stand there with a colour palette of all the different colours, or I can't remember that job's called. It really annoys me now. I can picture it. She was in Dot and Bubble. A lot of work in Dot and Bubble. Doctor Light Story, that, yeah. I'll get on to that in a future film. But if you really think about it, Confidential didn't have the presenter trying these things out. Confidential didn't have the connection between the presenter and the cast. Stephen Powell had a connection with the cast, so he's filmed more when he's playing them Duggadoo for the first time. Duggadoo, Duggadoo, Dugga Dugga Duggadoo, Duggadoo, Dugga Duggadoo. La 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 Duggadoo, 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 la la la. That is my rendition of Duggadoo. And when they play that, because he's got the connection, Stefan Powell, it feels when you get a better reaction out of them. You get more out of our contributors, as we call it, in the game. And you want to think to yourself, why is that the case? Why is that the case? Well, that is the case because a voiceover, they don't know at that time who it's. They see the confidential team, but they're behind the camera. They don't know who's going to be narrating it, that series. Could it be Simon Pegg? Could it be whoever? I can't actually think of who the other voices were. But you've sort of got that aspect of, that doesn't really work. In a sense of connection makes a better outcome. Some bands, not every band scene has a connection. So a lot of the ones I watched recently, like Midsummer Murders, Aventador, and the Taggart one, they don't have. They're not technically behind the scenes, but they have a lot of bands and elements. But they don't have the presenter. They have the voiceover. So I don't think the contributors gave as much as we would want them to in those cases. Like with Confidential, David and Mullins at one point that he'd in Cardiff and Confidential went to New York to film some bits. That would have been 10 times funnier if a presenter, let's say Stacey Solomon, Stacey Dooley, that sounds about right. Stacey Dooley talking to David Tennant about that would be a laughing point because Stacey Dooley sounds like the type of presenter that would have done it at that time. So I think that we have that aspect of he's annoyed, but it's funny. But it would have been funnier with with the presenter that he could bounce the jokes off. So I do think there's a lot missing, and you sort of get that back when you watch Unleashed. I know that Unleashed is the spiritual successor, so it's always a positive. So at the end of the day, there's a lot more negatives to say about Confidential, but the difference between Confidential and negative on Unleashed is that Confidential, in Matt Smith's theory, you got the moment where Arthur Darvill, Karen Gillan, and Matt Smith are all out on the piano going, I'm playing the piano, and you see that clip come time and time again online, right? That is a moment you wouldn't have got on Unleashed, because Unleashed seems a lot more formatted, a lot more presenter heavy, like more, we're doing this. Unleashed, Confidential on the other hand, was a lot more loose. So I think Confidential gets the point for looseness and moments that you won't get anywhere else happen, such as the piano moment from Matt Smith's era, and you won't get David and moaning really. But I think that Unleashed, whilst I agree that Unleashed is better, it is a little bit more staged, not staged, but a little bit more scripted, in a sense of it's structured. That's the word I was looking for. It's a lot more structured, so there's title cards for each segment. It all seems you have to do this bit and then this, and nothing spontaneous could occur. So I do think Unleashed loses the point for its non-spontaneity. But I do think that overall, my opinion is I prefer Unleashed to Confidential. I recently rewatched Confidential, and I do really like Confidential, and I think it's a cracking programme. I just think out of the two, Unleashed was better, and we need Torchwood Declassified on the BBC iPlayer, as well as the Sarah Jane Files. That needs to be added on there. And I think that, and all the BBC Extra Red Button stuff needs to be plopped somewhere so we can easily access it. So, there we have it. Overall, I thought that Unleashed is better than Confidential, but I do think that Confidential has a lot that Unleashed can learn from for the next batch of episodes. Because I think that So the 20th anniversary episode of New Who will felt more like a documentary than what Unleashed is normally about. So, thanks for listening, watching, or doing whatever you're doing to make this video play. Bye-bye, and hopefully I'll see you in the future.
Don't forget to subscribe to the official Tom Mason YouTube channel.